tinfoil hat. Oh, what the fuck are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
You know, when she gets a promotion and she gets moved from PG&E to the being in charge of water in LA, and she gets a promotion for it, it's all purposeful. It's really sad to me, and it makes me sad.
Water.
Yeah, she's in charge
of water.
Crow, you were just saying that there were lithium batteries in the smart meters, which, I mean, you might well call those ignition devices, right?
Well, wait a minute. Let me be. First of all, I'm not an engineer. All right, guys. I'm repeating what I've said. I have not taken the time to vet this, but I know for a fact there are certain neighborhoods where one house stood and it didn't have a smart meter. I also am aware of an engineer who fought the city vociferously, even chaining his old meter to the house, refusing to let them put it in. And the engineer said, there's, extra high voltage in there. And I think he said a lithium battery, and he called it a fire hazard.
Yeah, of course.
And so there's one guy who's very famous now online. His house didn't burn. He's crying, saying, why did my house, make it? He goes all the way around the house and he's looking at everything, and you can tell flat out that what his house is built of is probably what saved him. But when you begin to look, it's the same thing that happened in Hawaii and other places. The blue things didn't burn. The thing about that is that laser weapons are high energy weapons that have been shown, and they're being shown up while they were all over TikTok before that takeover just happened. But the blue doesn't absorb the heat. It just reflects it off. They can't light it. And so people began to realize this house with a blue roof didn't burn. This blue car didn't burn. Why are all the recycling bins not burning? And then it came to be what blew my mind, having grown up in San Diego, having seen endless devastation from fires over my 61 years of life, where a tree over a car is unburned. And the car underneath was so burned that the alloys and the glass melted. That is not normal.
I'm with you on that. There's been debates on that here on this show. I'm with you on that. It seems very purposeful of everything, and kind of what we've discussed on other shows is, LA wants you to blame these lesbians for all this. And the more and more I started thinking about, the more and more this video that comes out of them, of this woman going, if you need me to carry you out, you're in the wrong place. You go, why would any common sense human being put that video out of that woman saying that if they're trying to promote DI, and you realize,
can I answer?
Well, I mean, let me just finish, and then you could totally, is that they want you to blame DEI for this, and not that it's purposefully done to flip the LA into smart cities.
I don't know if you heard us talking before the mic clicked, but of the 5 places that just had fires of this kind, like Maui, I think it's Chile, I don't know if that's the right country, every one of them is 5 of them slated to be smart cities.
Yeah.
But to get back to the, gender game that they're playing with their leadership, they're dismantling the country, because whenever you do a thing like that, the majority of people can't relate. I have no beef with how anyone wants to live their life if they're not hurting people. But the problem with taking 10% of what 10% people do or less, and then trying to foist it out on 100%, it causes disease and it creates problems. And right now, this country has been being dismantled for decades, intentionally dismantled. From the economy to the food supply. Do you remember during Covidius Minimus when someone woke up one morning, made a phone call, said, you got to put down 250,000 cows. This just isn't safe. Go out there and shoot those cows and bury them. What do you think that does to a food supply in a country this size? And when I went to the grocery store today, and I'm in Rhode Island, this is a small place, the shelves are looking emptier all the time. And I'm talking
no eggs. There's no eggs. There wasn't eggs this weekend when I went over there.
There you
like
go.
Organic ones for like $2.
I'm going to make a suggestion here. Are you guys aware of like the Patriot buckets with the food that lasts 20 years?
Yeah.
Get a 2-year supply. Get a 2-year supply. You may never need it, but if you don't, thank God above. Because famine may be one of the weapons we see here.
I agree with you, dude. I agree with you. And again, the Deagle report, a lot of people say Deagle went really off the edge on a couple other predictions. But he does predict 2025 is going to be a crazy year.
72% less human beings in this country. And they removed that report offline, so people had to way back machine it to get at it again.
It's so crazy, dude.
Welcome to Up is Down, Left is Right, and Nothing is True. That's where we live right now.
His website is Crrow with 2 R, CRROW777radio.com. Welcome back. We always enjoy him. He is definitely a guy who you could say is in the running for Mount Crushmore. Please welcome Crrow777 back to Tinfoil Hat. How are you, brother?
Hey, thank you guys so much for having me on. And again, I'm just gutted by what's happening to you guys. Growing up in Southern Cal, I know it. If I can help any of you in any way, contact me.
Well, we appreciate you guys. And again, this weekend, I am going to be in Batavia, Illinois, where it's the opposite of the fires. It's freezing cold. And then I have a run with our good friend Eddie Bravo. We're going to be in Columbus, Ohio on the 6th, Pottstown on the 7th of February, and Morristown, New Jersey at the Dojo of Comedy on the 8th, and then finishing the end of the month at the House of Comedy. Guys, again, go to samtribute.com for all of those dates. Sadly, Xavier Guerrero will not be joining us because he is in hiding right now. He is in hiding. Anyways, real quick, we're live from the Wise Wolf Gold and Silver Studios. That's right, Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. If you're looking to get in the precious metals games, you can get into the precious metals for as little as $15 a day. Just go to samtripoli.gold. And before we get into what you want to talk about, I wanted to just bring up a question to you, Crow. During COVID, they were almost encouraging people to snitch on their neighbors, their family, their friends. Hey, if they're having gatherings of over 8 people, let us know. People calling in on each other. And that was for the left. Well, it seems like the right, now the new snitch, is calling authorities on illegals. And now they're giving you supposedly what, like $700, $750. I've seen the number been all the way up to $5,000. It just seems like they're programming us to snitch, and they do it for both sides, and they get you okay with snitching for things that you don't like, so you think it's okay, and not realizing that it comes back around and will be eventually used for you. What are your thoughts on that?
The old tricks are the best tricks. We can all remember World War II and the brown shirts, right? This is the game that has been played over and over. I'm going to say a thing here, and I believe it to the sole of my foot, from the tip of my head. You have been granted the divine spark of life. When you were born, you had every God-given right that was ever allowed any living being in this place. You were granted free will, and that is what is at stake with tactics like this. Everyone should go back to the internet one of these days soon and look up the golden rule and decide, is this valuable? Because things like the golden rule will undermine this kind of Tavistockian psychological programming that turns a society against itself, almost to the point of civil war, I would say at this point.
I 100% concur. I mean, it's so obvious what they're doing. Their whole tactic always is get you accept something that you're against if it's used against people for that you don't like, who are doing things you don't like. I would tell you that that's the whole holiday solos on HIV and AIDS. They convinced us it was a gay man's disease. We all accepted it was a gay man's disease. And then they're like, oh, this chick just got tuned. She's straight. Now they got you. Now they got you. Same thing with COVID. They did with COVID. Hey, dude, these Asians over here, look at these Chinese people falling. It's COVID, but it's just the Chinese. You remember in the Asian community was, oh, this is Asian hate. Ah, hey, man, it's just Asians get it. Then bang, somebody else got it. Next thing you know, they're closing it down. So this is their game. Always get you to accept awful things used against people you don't like, and then just know it will be used against you every fucking time.
It's got to be easier now than any other time in the world because the digital era has broken families, that the little family that was left, and community. There's no more face-to-face interaction. Everything's done in binary in a digital setting. And so we're already separated. It's the divide and conquer tactic. And then they start throwing fire ants in, as you're describing, and it causes havoc.
I agree. Okay, so let's get into what you are here to talk about. What were we getting into? We're getting to solar telescopes. What are we talking about here?
Well, I guess I'll be blunt because I usually am, and I guess it's the only way to go. We have a second sun, and it's not a lie, and it's not a conspiracy. I can prove it. I have filmed it, and I can show evidence here today that backs up what I'm telling you here. The old Vedic tradition from the very old world. You know, the world in India where they carved complete temples out of a mountain of rock, and we can't figure out from that world. They said we had a binary sun. And what they told us is that when that binary gets closer to us, our consciousness goes through the roof. Now, when that binary gets further away from us, we get dumb, like we've just been in the supposed dark age we're supposedly coming out of. But let me give an example of that. It is not just human beings that are getting the consciousness bump right now. How many people have seen bulldogs grabbing skateboards and riding them like they're supposed to be ridden? Well, let me tell you something. If that dog did that in 1970, he'd be the most damn famous dog on planet Earth. So everyone's getting this bump. And I know everyone listening must know someone or even themselves that recognizes that consciousness is lifting. I mean, anyhow, to get back to the point.
No. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. I'm seeing everybody elevate. I forget, dude, just what you're saying right now resonates with me. And I forget the story where it's like everybody's getting healthier. Somebody said. Like we're almost what's the word? We're like moving into a higher form of energy, a higher existence.
People say the fifth dimension a lot now, right? Is that what you're getting at? Yeah. That kind of fifth dimensional conscious that everyone likes to say.
Something is happening where like, oh, my buddy Mike Romanelli was telling me that like he's noticed that like his fingernails are growing quicker than they ever have. And like he said that all of his friends have been talking about how quick their fingernails are growing. Like we're getting this kind of like bump in reality.
That's cool, dude. I don't know what that means.
I
feel like time is passing faster. So I mean, geez, maybe it's related to that. Maybe it's actually your experience of time or time itself actually that has changed. It's not actually your fingernails growing faster, but you're moving through time faster. Do you get what I'm saying?
Well, how do we measure time here, right? In our part of the world, it's the sun. Right? That's what does it for us. In other places or more feminine based cultures, the moon, because the moon was once a month, we use it as a month, but we don't really use it correctly. This is how the sky clock provides our experience of time. So when we're talking about our sun possibly having a binary, it's a big deal. And you guys have seen vestiges of it. Look at the MasterCard logo. Let me back up a minute here. Way back, I think it was early 2015. And the reason I can't tell you the exact date is because I lost hard drives and computers and lost original timestamps on video that I still have. But I was out filming the moon one night through an 8-inch Schmidt Cassegrain telescope, and I would get bored because hours and hours waiting to film something interesting on the moon, which is how I kind of got known, accidentally filming the lunar wave. But then I'd start scanning the sky, and night after night, about a third of the sky away from a full moon, there was a bright spot. And I'm all, what the hell is this bright spot? By the way, I had a full spectrum camera that allowed me to see the bright spot. I'm thinking, is this the full moon reflecting on the firmament? What is this? Couldn't figure it out. Anyhow, at that time, I had a lot of followers on YouTube. It was before they had deleted my channel, and I got a solar telescope. So I start doing the sun. One day I do the same thing. I'm getting bored. I start scanning, and all of a sudden there's another sun, all a little smaller, and I can't quite get it in focus. And then my heart drops because the hell I went through when I launched the lunar wave. I didn't want to do that again. And I'm sitting here, am I really looking at a second sun? And I thought, there's no way. I haven't been doing this long enough. I've got many thousands of hours of nighttime scope work. I've only been on the solar thing, maybe 100 or 200 hours. I don't know enough. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut. So I film it and I start doing these tests. I get wrapping paper tubes that are 4 feet long and put them over the scope to try to prove that it can't be a reflection inside the Etalon system. I do all these things and basically it's there and I know it's there. And so then I start thinking, is it a reflection off the firmament of the sun? The problem is I filmed it more than once now and it moves. The first time I filmed it, it was about 1 sun width above the sun and about 2 or 3 sun widths to the left. Other times it was in different positions. So I put out the video, which I sent to you guys. I think it's The Sun We See or whatever. And also for members of Crrow777 Radio, my 2-hour film, Shoot the Moon, has the original footage that I'm describing now in it. So anyone can see it. So I announce it, but I'm very low key because I don't want to have the hellscape that happened when the lunar wave happened. I was not interested in living that life again. Lo and behold, I think almost 2 years later, a man named Chris Van Maitre, who's part of the Flat Earth community, replicates what I do. But this time, the sun is a couple widths to the right and a couple widths down. Well, at one of the Flat Earth get-togethers, my co-host Jason had gone there to play music and do other things. There was a lady named Cammie Odell, who's kind of a light filters expert and a light expert. She brings with her a polarized light filter. And I'm not an expert at this, but everyone knows if you put on polarizing sunglasses, it will remove a glare, a glint, or a reflection. So Chris Van Maitre sets up his system, acquires the second sun, and she puts a polarizing filter on it and then proves that it is not a reflection or it's a body. She proves it with a polarizing filter. Now I'm going to start to come back to the chase. The first time that I saw it, the sun we see in a hydrogen alpha solar telescope is red. Now, this other object is slightly smaller than, I think it's got a little bit bigger over time, but I'm still waiting now to get a clear shot. Just so everyone knows, it's currently behind our sun almost all the time. So occasionally at sunrise and sunset, if the conditions are right, you can see it with your naked eye. I would urge everyone listening, if you're out at these times, just click. And if you do see something, shoot video. A still image is worthless to prove much of anything. If you shoot video, slightly move the camera left and right and up and down so you can see if the two things remain equidistant, proving that it's not lens flare. To get back to
do you ever do sun glazing by any chance? We had a guy,
Yeah.
Santos, that used to do sun glazing. Do you recommend it? Have you ever do it? Can you see it like that?
Not glazing, dude.
Gazing.
What is it?
Gazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What is this? What is sun glazing?
It's a whole different thing, but since you brought it up, we gotta say this. Yes, I've sun gazed. If you're going to sun gaze, don't dick around. You can lose your vision. There's a very specific way to do it, and you need to educate yourself. And at first, you look for a second. The next day, you double it and look for 2 seconds. And you can pull this up to about 45 minutes, which I have done. This is not about anything other than energizing your body. I have an astigmatism in my eye that was corrected through sun gazing. So to get back to the point, one day I'm looking at the MasterCard logo and it smacks me in the face. I recognize that the colors that I saw the first time I filmed it are right there in the MasterCard logo. Then I remembered watching Star Wars when Luke is on Tatooine, and it looks exactly like that, except the second sun, or the sun we don't typically see. For some reason, I haven't been able to pull it into focus yet, sharp focus, but I haven't, for years now, I haven't had a clear shot. I now have a 130 millimeter, very high-end solar telescope, which only 3 in North America have been sold. So I got the tools to do it when I get my shot here. to come back around to the point, not long after everything I've described, the SLU Observatory is doing a live stream in 2016. I sent you guys the video, and this, you want proof? I'm going to hand you proof that I'm not chewing on the wrong peyote bush here. They're streaming the sun because Mercury is transiting it, and I believe the live stream is for young folks. Well, I'm looking at this video someone sends me, and there's the second sun. It's like so close to the sun, they can't get it out of frame. About 30 minutes into the live stream, the astronomer from the SLU Observatory looks at the camera, and you can go look at the video I sent you, and he says, well, you're probably wondering what that other object is. That's in fact our second sun. NASA knows about it. They just don't want you to know about it. So I don't know how else I can back up what I've experienced and told you, other than maybe you could watch an observatory tell you what's what. This is a big, big deal. And one of the reasons it might get lied about is, what do you suppose happens to our magical models of the solar system that is all held together by gravity when you throw another sun into the mix? For anyone
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, I don't believe in any of that stuff that they've been teaching us in schools. I think our world is way more interesting.
It is.
And I have seen times where I'm like, if the sun's there, what's that right there? And then you're like, is that the moon? What is that? Why are they in the sky like that? I'm going to start recording that when I see it, because I have, in fact, seen it.
If anyone films something and they think it's something, please send me the video, because I'm trying to get a timeline down. Right now, I got my big honkin' solar scope right before spring in 24, and I spent all of 24 locked to that thing, to the point where I can now produce videos and imageries. And by the way, I sent you guys a video you can play if you want. You're the only people I've given it to outside of my website to play. It's a double looping prominence shot through my 130 and animated out, so you can see the movement of the prominences, which are the flame looking things that come off
Johnny,
the side.
play that video.
But where the hell was I going, Sam?
You were talking about how everybody, if anyone sends you videos. Oh, no. You were talking about like what the two sun does to our theory of gravity and all that stuff.
All right, let him run the video, and I'll let him get his. You can kill the audio. So what you're looking at here is what's called a prominence, and you can see the magnetic nature of it. It's, magnetically looping. And what I've done here.
And this is the sun?
This is the sun.
Damn,
through my
look at
130
that,
shot it's shot in the hydrogen alpha wavelength. Now that dark spot over the sun is what they call a filament, but it's actually just a prominence that isn't in the right position to look like that.
Dude, this is crazy footage.
Yeah.
Wow.
Beautiful.
The sun is a massive, massive deal.
How much processing is involved in generating this image?
Well, first of all, to create this animation, I generated almost 1 terabyte of data.
Wow.
And secondarily, I shot for 3 hours. Of the 3 hours, each 1 minute is a video. Each 1 minute video is then turned into a still. Each still is then processed out to get it as sharp as I can get it, adding nothing but color. The color is the only fake thing here, because I shoot in black and white so that I can get the most data, the most detail. And then I run it all into a video.
It's funny. There are people in the flat earth movement who will tell you that these kinds of images, just by their nature, are misleading and fake because they required what you just described, just some extra some layering of images and that kind of thing. But come on.
Well, it's no different than if I took a picture of you, one picture every time you took a step walking across a 10-foot room, and then turned that into a video to show the motion.
Guys, real quick, I want to tell you about one of our favorite sponsors here, Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. They're a bedrock of our show. They sponsor the show. They sponsor the studio. And, who knows what Trump's going to do with the Fed. It's an interesting time. And a great way to hedge your bets against that is to get in precious metals. So let me tell you about Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. If you're paying attention, you know the de-dollarization is real. Fiat is fake, and you don't want to be left holding the bag when the dollar collapses. Gold and silver have been money through all of recorded history and are an excellent way to protect yourself from inflation and geopolitical turmoil. That's why I trust my friends at Wise Wolf Gold and Silver for all precious metals, all things precious metals. I love it. I am part of the Wolf Pack. Every month I have precious metals sent right to my house, and I love it. See, Wise Wolf Gold and Silver is veteran owned and A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau. No transaction is too big or too small. You can even roll over your 401k or IRA into physical gold and silver. And if you think you can't afford precious metals, think again. With the Wolfpack monthly membership program, you can get gold and silver delivered directly to your door for as little as $50 a month. As little as $50 a month, you can have precious metals. You start loading it up, man. By the end of the year, you'll have a good chunk of precious metals. Dude, it's crazy. You just go to samtripoli.gold. You can see all the different plans they have. Man, it's like $50. Lone Wolf, Warrior Wolf, $125. Alpha Wolf is $250. And it just keeps going up. Sent to your house. Right there. It's that simple. It's that simple. Easy peasy. Get in, get out, get your gold, get your silver. I love it. I'm doing it. Dude, I'm telling you, all of these affiliates I use, and I use Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. I use it all the time. It's real simple. So if you want to get in, this is how you do it. Wise Wolf Gold and Silver also deals in and accepts Bitcoin. So here's what I need you to do, okay? Go to samtripoli.gold, promo code tinfoil at checkout to receive free constitutional silver. That's right. And remember, in a world of bulls and bears, be the wolf. Hey guys, real quick, I'm going to tell you about our new sponsor, True Work, okay? True Work is hell-bent on creating a more technically high-performing workwear in the world, okay? True Work's story begins in the Colorado mountains, where a trade worker knew there had to be a better solution than the wet, heavy gear that was weighing him down. True Work was born. Bang, bang, pow. Every True Work product is engineered for maximum comfort, protection, and efficiency with a minimal bulk and extra weight. I'm all about that, okay? Denim and cotton canvases haven't changed much over the last 200 years. True Work upgrades traditional classics by using the same fabrics worn by elite outdoor athletes, okay? Soft, stretchy, sweat-wicking, soft shell work pants are the major upgrade over wet, heavy jeans. Let's go! Wind and waterproof shells use intelligently placed insulation for streamlined warmth that lets you stay mobile and agile, okay? Like in the streets. Okay, that's what we're talking about here. True Work has over 50,000 five-star reviews and countless stories from trade pros in every state and every job across the country. So upgrade to True Work for a major change in the way you work, okay? True Work helps you be your best when your best matters most. Check out the full lineup and get 15% off your first order at truework.com/tinfoil. That's 15% off at truewerk.com/tinfoil. And we thank True Work for sponsoring the show. So can you describe for those who are listening what is going on here?
So what you're seeing is an ejection from the edge of the sun, typically called the limb. It looks like flames to us, but it's not. And what you can tell is it's an arcing loop, and that's because it's electromagnetic.
Yeah.
This is not a nuclear furnace, as you have been described. This is electromagnetic in nature. And you can see right there. Now, to be fair, there may be some fission-like processes up in the upper edges. But the way it's been described to you, I don't accept at all.
That's amazing.
Was this upscaled, Crow?
No.
No. Okay.
It's amazing.
You mean, did I take tiny images and then blow it up to make it appear
Well,
bigger?
was there? I'm just wondering, was there any kind of processing involved in making it larger?
No, so when I shoot, I'm shooting in typical video resolution, 1980 by
1080,
yeah, 1080 by 1920. So the only thing fake, there is one element that is fake here, and that is color, because I'm shooting in black and white. The reason that I put the color in is because it helps your eye to expect what it wants to expect. I could have made this purple or pink, but we kind of want to see an orange of some kind.
That's
we're looking at spheres though, right? Or a sphere, right?
Yes, it's absolutely a sphere. And here's another thing that I should mention. There were some people who, if I just took a regular camera with a sun filter that knocks down the brightness 98%, that's called filming in white light. Now, what they did is they filmed the sunspots moving around, and they said the sun does not rotate. And I commend them for doing firsthand observation. But when I shoot in hydrogen alpha, which is just barely within the red phase of the visible spectrum, what I see is you can absolutely see that this is rotating. If I am looking at a sunspot or a prominence, the next day when I wake up 24 hours later, if it is still there, it will rotate around, letting me know this is what the energy I was looking at yesterday.
Crow, so let me ask you, the texture of the what we're looking at, we see the flares, but before the flares we see like an area. What do you think that area is?
You talking about the surface?
Yeah, what?
So
thank you. I was struggling to find that word. What is what do you think the surface is?
Like right there?
Yeah.
Let me do better. I sent you guys a bunch of images, and if I can call out one, there's one called 4JPEG. If you can load that one, it's a sunspot that is a still that I shot, and it will start to address what you're talking about.
Dude, that footage is insane, dude.
I've got way more on the members. I give all this exclusively to my members, and I have 11 solar videos that are exclusive to this.
Crow, wouldn't you agree? It's so many people don't realize how profound the images are you can get with just the consumer telescope, right? If you're willing to put in the time. It really like soul-stirring images.
You're spot on. If you learn how to do it correctly, if you learn how to focus well and let the right amount of light in, whether you're shooting Jupiter or the sun is the most difficult thing to film by far. It is so hard to film the sun because it's bright outside. You're either inside on a computer screen or you're out there trying to focus. It's just damn difficult. And as things heat up, you can lose your focus. So in this case, I'm trying to collect data for 3 hours as the sun's continually heating my telescope. And that has an effect on the focus. But is someone got the images that Rose sent?
Is this what you want here?
Yeah. Oh, no. There's an email sent to you guys.
Yeah. That's where I got this from, is from that email.
So open up, Johnny, for the love of God.
Can you, I'm sorry, can you repeat? I heard Sam. What were you saying, Crow?
So open up the
I have
zip
two
file.
links. I have a link to those digital stills you just sent, and then a link to looping double prominences.
That's the latest one. Go to her previous email. You know what? I'm just going to send you.
Oh, she might have sent that to Mark and not to me.
So, Mark, do you have a...
Mark's not here, I'm afraid.
No, Mark's not here.
Let me see if Mark can send that to us.
Hold on.
Or if you could just share it in the chat, Crow, or share it yourself on the Zoom.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can drag this into chat. How smart am I? Not very. Okay, so I'm just going to drop this into the chat and launch it over here. I apologize, guys, making it harder than it needs to be.
No problem.
So what you're going to see here is what's called a sunspot.
Got it.
Okay, click that, Johnny. Whoa. Looks like a Van Gogh.
So what we're told is that by NASA or people like that is the reason it looks like that is because it's slightly cooler. But what I notice is that when I have videoed this, and I have videos on my website, is those little stringy looking things go around the corner, down in, and then they blink at their ends and energy jumps back and forth in there. Now this image, to be perfectly clear, there is one fake element in any image that is not black and white. That is the color. I have sharpened. I have that's really about it. I've set light levels, but I
But
have
let me ask you
added no
something,
element.
Crow.
Yeah.
When you say you added color, what you're saying is that you shot in black and white, but I feel like the sun is this color.
Well, that's an interesting thing, and we'll have this conversation because the guys are with you. If I ask you guys when you were a kid and drawing the sun in school with crayons, what color was it to you?
Yellow or red, but more
Yeah.
yellow.
It was
Yellow.
always orange or yellow for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
orange,
now, if you were a kid now, would you use the white crayon or the yellow crayon?
Well, the white crayon is practically worthless. So yeah, it's probably the
I
yellow.
go
Well,
I go yellow still.
My point is, most people feel like when they were young, it seemed more yellow than it does now. And I agree with that. To me,
I'm
it
not
seems
against that.
much more pale. As a matter of fact, I have noticed a lot of people some years ago began to say the sun feels more direct on my skin. And I noticed that. But what I also noticed is I don't burn as quick for some reason. But I'm going to shoot over another image here, which is a still of a prominence wrapping into a filament over the limb of the moon.
Okay. Just waiting on that. All right. Here we go.
And then, do you think the sun's losing power? You said it doesn't feel as hot, or like
No, I think it's gaining. I think it's going into, I don't know how to describe it. I want to say higher vibration, but that's kind of a hippy dippy thing to say. I don't have any base. I think
Besides the color, you're telling me this is a real picture?
yeah.
Wow.
In the hydrogen alpha wavelength. So let me explain that. If someone wants to do a quick internet search for the visible light spectrum and put that up, I'll show you how amazing this is. We are damn near blind. Human beings are damn near blind to our world. We see such a minute little fraction of the light spectrum that it's almost shocking. It would be fair to call us nearly blind. Now, within that little color spectrum that we see, so find one that shows the visual portion. There it is right there. Yeah, visible spectrum, it says.
These are all visual. I mean, that's the search here. So
No,
right there. It
Yeah,
says
yeah.
Visible. Johnny, there
Okay,
it is.
see that little sliver right there of color? That's what we see. And all the rest of it is what we can't see with our eyes. Now, at the right of the visible is red. See the red edge?
yeah,
That's where you find the hydrogen alpha that I'm filming in. So while it is still within the visual spectrum, we can't see what I'm filming for the simple reason all the other interference, brightness, other spectrums interfere with our ability. What my telescope does is blocks out everything except hydrogen alpha and then reduces the energy from the sun to include the brightness to the point we can get a view like this. There is nothing manufactured in that shot. I did set the black point. Let me be perfectly fair. The orange is fake. I put it there. I shot this in black and white. See how it's real dark so that the contrast boosted? I set that black point to make that more visible for people, but I added no elements.
This image, does it represent how much time does this image represent?
So typically, if I shoot for typically 2,000 to 3,000 frames, and if everything's right, that will make an image like this.
damn.
Okay.
Wow.
What I do is I
60
stack.
frames per second. Are we talking here? What? How many frames?
Yeah, well, it could be anything, but yes, because this is how it works. You take, say, 2,000 frames, then I take maybe the best 10 to 25% that are the sharpest, because this is, when you look at the sun, it looks wavy, it looks like there's heat, and not every frame is good. So you take that small percentage of those frames and you stack them together. It's almost like putting each one in a Photoshop layer and setting every layer to 50%, so that all that data is now combined. And then the image gets flattened and processed out, sharpening, black point, all the things. And the outside where like outer space would be, that level is the most manipulated thing. I could leave it much brighter, and I probably have examples I can show, or darken it down like I did here so that the elements of the sun really pop.
No, maybe I've lost the thread, but how does this relate to the two suns? This image?
It's the one we know about.
Oh, okay.
No.
So
Okay, let me answer.
Is
Let me
there
be
evidence of the second sun in this image?
Yes, I'm going to get to that.
Oh, okay.
When I put, people wanted me to get these
Damn it,
images and
John.
make them available. So what I did is all these images are available for people to purchase on my website, and they're not expensive. In some of them, I intentionally left evidence of the second sun. Now, to get back to your point, you asked me, why does it matter? Okay. In my view, the sun is like a lens. All right. Most people don't buy into astrology or anything else, but the fact of the matter is that how can you dismiss the energy of the sun and the way astrology tries to address it when you know damn well that in June you could be hot as hell and in December freezing under snow? What caused it? Well, we're looking at what caused it. The sky clock caused it. Now, all those other luminaries, like things we call Jupiter, there's an energy there. When you look at it through a telescope, or a star is a good example. That's energy. You can see the energy. If you take it slightly out of focus, it looks like it's underwater, but you can see the cymatic pattern indicating an energy level. It is my point of view that the sun lenses all that in, and it adds all the variety to our lives. It is why I guess I can't. It just makes all the differences in the way this world is interesting. And I try to say it like the morning sun is not the afternoon sun, is not the evening sun. And if you don't believe me, go into your garden and look at what a plant is doing with the sun at 8 a.m. Then look at solar noon, then look before sunset. And you will see that there are different things going on the whole time. So to answer your question, if that binary is true, which I know it is, that's energy is now being lensed into us in the way that I think about it. And the way that I think about it is unique. So
What
to
do
be
you
fair,
mean lens into me? What does that mean? Lens into us.
could there be life here without the sun?
No.
Oh,
So
no.
what is the sun doing to allow that life?
Energizing.
It's lensing in heat and energy and wavelengths. And when we take a prism, this is one of the most miraculous things. In the ancient world, they looked at the sky clock as 7, right? You had 5 visible planets and a sun and a moon. Everything was 7. When we take a prism, what does it break out? Well, we usually define it as 7 colors, right? So this white light somehow comes into a bent piece of glass and it phases out all the colors we see. Lensing, right? That's what I'm talking about. So with the prism, we learn, oh, look, there's all these colors we didn't know was in this light. But when we're out in the sun, it's lensing this all down to us. And here's the other thing. I maintain the sun is not a nuclear furnace, so where's all that energy coming from? And that's a whole different discussion. But I was about to show, what was I about to show you
real
before?
quick before we move on. So when you look at the planets, do you see a round ball?
Yes.
Like, yes, you do.
Yes.
Okay.
And
what
they
does
spin.
that represent to you?
Well, I once heard someone say that the way our eye is formed and the way we use lenses and telescopes, that it causes us to see things as round. And I'm not an astrophysicist or a light expert, but what I can tell you is anyone who doesn't think those things are round and spinning, go look at Jupiter through a telescope. It's one of the easiest things to do. It's in the sky now. And if you watch it over a period of time, there are 4 visible moons that you can see, and you will watch them go over the face of Jupiter. You will see their shadow go over the face of Jupiter, and you will see it go around over, larger periods of time. Now, our moon is bizarre because it's phase locked, right? It doesn't spin for some weird reason. But here's another kick in the chops. And I've got an image that'll blow your mind here in a minute. In my mind, a man named Tycho Brahe gave the best information we were ever given on our supposed solar system. And the Jesuits of the day, and I can prove this, knew that he was right while they promoted his whipping boy Kepler and Copernicus. And I call Kepler his whipping boy because he hired him to do math, and Copernicus and Kepler never did observation. The thing about Tycho Brahe, he did all his work before the telescope was invented. He was an aristocrat, so it wasn't even cool for people at that level to do this kind of work, and he did it anyhow, and every king everywhere wanted an astrological chart from that man. That's how good he was. There was no astronomy and astrology. It was all the same thing back then. Now, there's an image that I sent in the email. I'm going to probably have to drag and drop it. Let me see if I can do that. and this image will blow your mind. It's a poster on my wall, and it's like my favorite image. I think it sent. Did it not send? Okay, hold on. Let me try that
No,
again.
not yet.
I gotta probably desktop it. Let me try that again. Oh, it's not letting me copy it. Okay, give me a second here. Sorry, guys. Copy image, paste image. All right. Can you put your email into the chat, please? And I'm just going to forward this email to you. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to do a forward.
As you're doing that, let me just ask you a question. So you believe that these plants, and I'm open-minded, are round ball planets, but you believe that we live in under a firmament?
Why in the world? Because you look up in the sky and things that we call, well, by the way, the word plane is in planet. And as Fortune de Saint-Germain ingeniously told me in French, which he speaks, it means little plane, planet. Why would you assume that Jupiter is anything like us? We're not Jupiter people. Why would you even assume, for that matter? Well, that's what I'm saying. Why do we automatically assume that Earth is a planet like all these other things we call planets? And by the way, Mercury and Venus would be better described as moons of the sun than planets. And I'm about to show you why. Johnny,
Okay,
tell me when you...
that. I do have the email now. What?
Okay, so in the middle pasted, there's a black and white poster that looks like it came from the 1600s, which it did.
Yeah, with like in the corner we have angels and that kind
Yes.
of.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
So this was created by a Jesuit priest in 1651, and this image was created to tell people who had been educated and understood. First, let me say this. Only the educated people would be able to understand the mythological encode. Like the guy with all the eyeballs on him, that's 100 or 1,000-eyed Argos. So you would have to be educated in myth to understand what Argos is representing here. In other words, most commoners would have no idea other than this is an interesting picture. Okay? What he's showing here, this Jesuit, is that Tycho Brahe had the highest truth, and what we were given, Kepler and Copernicus. Kepler may have had to do with Brahe's death. I don't know for sure, but he did get all his data. And while Brahe spent his life collecting data without a telescope, Kepler did math magic. So did Copernicus. Never observed dick. So here's the thing. There's a scale in the middle. See the scale? One side is clearly heavier than the other, and we know what that means. Above that scale is the hand of God. The heavy side is Tycho Brahe's model of our solar system, the correct one. That's why it's heavier. The one on the left is the one we got, Kepler Copernicus. The one at the bottom, under the feet, the worst of all, is Ptolemy. So error-ridden. There's so much information. In 1651, they knew the truth, and they were busy obfuscating it, getting us to believe in the spin cycle nonsense that we do, and to diminish us into believing that the Earth is not as important as it is. In Brahe's model, we are what matter. We are the center that everything goes around. There is a guy named Simon Shack who has put together, I don't agree with everything he thinks is correct about this, because I don't believe that we move. I believe we're stationary. But he put together a 3D online thing where you can make the whole thing move and see how it works. And actually, if you give me a second, I'll just do it, because you guys should have this if you're interested. Simon Shack. I wanted to interview him, but for some reason we just didn't hit it off. Maybe because I have a big mouth. That could be part of the problem. Probably was the problem, to be fair.
Hey guys, real quick, I'll tell you about our good friends at Me Undies. Okay, at some point in our illustrious love life, we all ask our partners the same age-old question that guys have probably been asking for thousands of years. Am I big? Okay. I know the answer, and the answer is no, okay? While MeUndies doesn't have the actual answer to that, or if your partner gives you the actual truth, this Valentine's Day, they can help you look huge with their contoured pouch and ball caddy. Damn, I already like it. Every Valentine's Day needs a Valentine's night, and Me Undies is your perfect thirst trap to get the mood right. Choose from tons of awesome Valentine's Day prints and styles and match undies with your special someone for an extra special holiday treat. Okay, guys, maybe on Valentine's Day, we should all dress in the same underwear just to be cool with the cool kids for the ladies, right?
How
For
about
sure.
how about I just tell you guys I have the underwear on and I'll be wearing a different Me Undies color, but
Respect.
we can all
Mix it
pretend
up.
we have the same ones on.
We're
Damn, I
wild
could
guys.
see you in those penguin ones right there. Look at that.
I'll wear penguins right now. You think I'm afraid? I'll put it on right now. Listen, they got styles for everyone. From all the black classics to fun, expressive prints, MeUndies has a look for everyone. To try our sexy new V-Day prints like electric hearts or lovebirds. Plus, they come in sizes extra small to 4 times extra large, guaranteeing a flattering cut for everybody. They have versatile loungewear. MeUndies isn't just about underwear. Explore the lounge collection featuring joggers, hoodies, onesies, and more. And MeUndies has unmatched comfort. MeUndies' signature fabric is as soft as a warm hug from your favorite sweater. It's breathable, stretchy, and oh so comfy, making it ideal for all-day wear. Responsibly sourced. They use sustainable source materials and work with partners that care for their workers. Problem-free philosophy. Not happy with your first pair of undies? It's on Me Undies. So this Valentine's Day, good things come in big packages at Me Undies. Get 20% off your first order plus free shipping at meundies.com/tinfoil. Enter the promo code tinfoil. That's meundies.com/tinfoil. Code tinfoil for 20% off plus free shippings. MeUndies, comfortable from the outside in.
Oh, they're starting to block the information now. You have to go to the thing. Okay, so let me grab the Tychosium 3D. Okay, here we go. Now you guys should all copy this URL, pass it around, save it, because it looks like they're starting to. That later, when you guys want to do stuff, it will show you that the Earth is what everything is making the center of everything. If you click that, it'll launch a whole online thing where you can make all the independent points move, time them out, leave trails, and just see how it all works. But my point here is a Jesuit who was setting what was allowed in the world back in the day made this image to tell all the other people, brah, he had it right before the telescope was even invented. And I mean right before the telescope was even invented. But you'll get a kick out of this. So let me just describe what's going on here. There's the Earth. And so all the planets are revolving around it, but there's 2 separate kind of what I guess we would call an orbit. Anyhow, people who are listening to this later, just look up Simon Shack Tychosium, and you can get access to this, and take your time to get used to it. But we've been told nothing but lies. The reason the space agencies exist is because they're all in a club, and they're all here to make sure you know nothing about what's above your head, or why human beings are important, or why this place is so special.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're looking at a sphere also as for the Earth here, right?
Yeah, Simon Shack built this as a sphere, and he also, the thing about the math he did around Tycho's work is he doesn't have to do any math magic at all, except he makes the Earth travel at about 1 kilometer an hour, which that's part of where I differ. I think the Bible told us the truth. I don't think that all the time, but in this case, that the Earth is stationary and cannot be moved. As a matter of fact,
What'd you say about the Bible? Hold on. What'd you say about the Bible?
that from my point of view, we are told correctly in the Bible that the Earth is fixed and stationary.
Okay.
Well, I don't know how it's worded. I haven't read. Can't be moved, or no one could move. That kind of idea. Very stable.
But that fits this model. A stationary.
No, he's got it spinning.
No, but I don't mean this literal, but the principle
Yes.
to a stationary Earth model.
It is my point of view that Tycho took the biblical view, that it was stationary and wasn't spinning or traveling.
kind of.
This is really an incredible piece of work. I mean, you'll have to spend hours later.
What is
But
the big white one right there? What is that? It's coming around. Here it comes.
That's Saturn.
that's Saturn. You need to
This
spin
one.
it.
This one is
Jupiter.
Saturn.
That's Jupiter.
That's Jupiter. Okay.
Spin it like so it's a tabletop and you're looking straight down on it. Makes it easier.
Oh,
Slow
there
it
it is.
down. Yeah, slow it down.
So interesting. How would you describe this to people listening?
The Earth is the center of what we call the solar system. We are very special. We are incredibly special. This place is incredibly special. And what's going on in this world right now is basically the dark side making a run at this creation. The dark side wants to be gods of this, but they cannot. The reason they cannot be gods of this is because everything works like a trust. Even our religion, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, the creator, the beneficiary, the trustee. Now, the creator can claim godhood of the creation, but they can't make a fish from scratch. They can't make any of this. So they're making a digital Fugazi knockoff world that they can be gods of. And it is inferior in every way of the real world. And that is what they're about to try to lord over us, making everything from our money to our police digital and tracked. Of that, they can be gods because they did create it. But the superior, best you can have is nature, God's creation. There is nothing better. There will never be anything better. The rights you are granted, the place that exists, the fact that there is no lie in nature, all of it is trying to be undermined by this digital Fugazi world that they want to be gods of.
God, this is insane. So you think we're at the center of the entire universe, and you think the universe just expands forever?
No, I don't. I can't address it. I'm sure that there's all kinds of intelligences all over the place in different levels of vibration that we can't detect, maybe on those so-called planets even. The sun is conscious, by the way, and alive. How could it possibly provide life to all of us if it didn't have it to provide in the first place? How could a dead thing provide life and consciousness to things that are alive? The sun is conscious and alive. As a matter of fact, all matter is conscious, or I don't know, sentient. I don't know what the right word is, but it's not dead matter, as science has tried to show us. But if you can click back one last time to the black and white Jesuit poster, I can move on from there.
Quick question. The whole thing about the sun's going to explode in a certain amount of years, blah, blah, blah. We need to move out of this. We need to go to Mars. No?
Well, it makes me think of a flower that gets you high and a male chicken, poppycock. And every created thing will see its end, but that's by design. And when that time comes, it's not wrong. That's the way this place works. There is, and for everything, there is a season, right? We know this to be true. If it's in physical duality and matter, any created thing will see its end.
Dude, I love this picture. Can you send? I want to put this picture on our wall. We're trying to put together a conspiracy.
Get it? I got it on my wall right now. Go on Amazon, look it up. Did I say? Hey, Johnny, did I send you the name of the guy? It's called Nuovo Almagest. Just look that up.
Johnny,
I think I got it on
up.
Amazon.
We'll put that on the wall too. I love that picture.
I'm making a note right now, Sam.
Nuovo Almagest. I put it in the chat.
It's in the file name. Almagest is.
We'll put that on the
so
wall.
what's
That's
cool
super
is
interesting.
what's
I get
really
it too. I just studied it. I get it. Like when you say like the weights and why his is heavier because it's right, and you look inside the weights itself or whatever you would call it.
What people don't realize why mythology is so important is because there's no lie in nature. If you ever learn something in nature, you can bank it. That's God's creation. There is no fallacy. And when you see the 100 or 1,000-eyed Argos, it is the personification of an aspect of nature. That's why all this mythology is piled on, because he's showing you that the creator's truth is being employed to symbolically show you something that is true.
Maybe you mentioned it and I missed it, but is on the ground there, is that the previous model?
Yes.
Is that what that is? Okay.
Ptolemy, the most error-ridden model. But to be fair, That's all probably a lie, because we're beginning to realize that the old world was way advanced beyond where we are. This is supposed to be like Egyptian times or something like this. Ptolemy, not quite that far back, but Ptolemy, no telescopes, no nothing, and he had all kinds of things wrong. His observations and math. Think about Brahe, and this is ironic because he published 777 stars and their exact locations and everything he knew, but he continually refined it without telescopes, by the way. And kings would come to this man and say, draw me, just so people know, it was astronomy. I won't use the word astrology because there's too much baggage, but they knew, which we have forgotten, what the billionaires know. What was it? JP Morgan said millionaires don't need astrology, billionaires do. I think that's the quote. What he knew was all this work on the sky clock that he'd be doing. He was figuring out how the energies affect us. And so he would draw charts for the kings, and the kings would make, big world decisions. And he was endlessly sought after to do this for people because of his unbelievable achievements in this field. And by the way, the basis of what Brahe did is everything that we have now. But I want to find, give me a second here. Let me see if I can find.
As you're looking at that, let me ask you a question. Back to the two suns. What is the purpose of the second sun in the big scheme? Like, do they both warm us up? Is that both their jobs? Is the second sun ever the first sun and they just switch out?
Let me answer that in the best way I can, because I can't answer that all the way. Used to be years and years ago, and when you were looking at stars and you found a binary, that was a novel thing. Now the opposite is true. Now they're starting to say maybe every sun or every star. And by the way, I don't accept that a star is just another sun. I don't accept any of the nonsense we've been told by NASA. They lie for a living. So we can look at what we call stars, and we know that most of them, or many, many of them, are binary. So in other words, what it means is that this is a common thing. And by the way, in the world we're aware of duality, look at it this way. Could we make a battery if we didn't have a negative and a positive pole? Could we make a child if we didn't have a man and a woman? You can see how this kind of feels right. And I'm not even bringing in the black hole sun, the black sun. That's a whole other conversation.
Is that located in Earth, do you think?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Damn, 3 suns.
Oh, here's a fantastic, I got to show you guys this one. The day I
These
shot
Nazis.
This, there's another image up for you.
Oh, wow.
Oh, and I want to show you this one as well, because
whoa.
So the other thing that I want people to know, this image has not been inverted, and I'm about to show you one that has. It's a common practice. It adds no false data. Again, the color is false, but I'm going to show you an inverted one in a second. The reason it's done is because it brings up the 3D nature, but I'm going to show you evidence of the second sun. Look all the way around. Do you see, like, it looks like there's something glowing behind the sun?
Yeah.
Do you see how it's not equidistant? The lower right is a little tighter than the upper left.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's keep going. Here's another image. This one has been inverted, and it gives it a more 3D appearance when you do the inversion. In other words,
wow.
Yeah. All right. So now look at the lower right, and you can just barely detect that glow. Look at the upper left. It's not there.
Hmm.
That's the second sun behind there, creating that. Here's another one.
So right there, it's just a little smaller. It's obviously smaller, the second sun, right?
Hard to know because distance would cause that, right?
Right.
If it was still really far away. It's like that game they play with eclipses. Well, believe it or not, the amazing sun, which is 93 million miles away, bullshit, and the amazing moon, which is over 250,000 miles away, bullshit, just happens to be 400 times smaller than the sun, and by chance, it's 400 times more distant. That's why an eclipse work. We get fed these nonsensical.
Yeah.
I mean, the statistics on alone shows that it's nonsense. Did you get the other one, Johnny?
I have it right here. Yeah.
All right. So that one doesn't look like it's focusing very well for me.
It's a smaller image I received.
Oh shoot, it was a thumbnail, I think. But anyhow, this one's been inverted, which is why there are blacks on the top. But again, look at the glow in the upper right behind the sun. Now go to the lower left. You can see what's ever back there is moving around.
Yep.
Fascinating.
So I'll show you a couple more surface images. Here's another one, Johnny. And I'll put one more right behind it that are just tight surface images of sunspots. Whenever you see an image in hydrogen alpha of the sun, do you see how right of the sunspot that there's white? That shows you that this image has not been inverted, okay? If I had inverted it, that white would be dark and the sunspot itself would be light. But when you do that, it allows you to see the 3D nature. There are very few people that I have seen that get this kind of detail, and it's partially because I have a very, very good telescope, but I have a very weird skill set with video and animation and image production, which just happened to be exactly what I needed. And I sent you one more behind that, Johnny.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
What is
I'm sorry.
that? What
I'm so
are
sorry, guys. Those are thumbnails. I apologize for the quality.
It's okay, but it's just, what is that pattern? It's so crazy to me.
Some of these look like human tissue. I have taken images like this where it literally looks like if you were in an office where they're carving up a human body to see how it works, it looks like muscle tissue or
Now,
something.
how much of that is on the account of it being a representation of the movement of the sun over time? Like if you could capture a split second, like the frame of, would it look this
you
way?
are. So when I take, let's say, and I do this all the time, I'll shoot 1,000 frames and my frame rate maybe I'm having a good day and I'm getting 200 or over 100 frames a second and I'm shooting 1,000. So that's the span of time, right? It's less than a minute. It's probably about 20 seconds. But
that slippery, slithery look to it, is that not down to that? Because you see if you have things that move in a time lapse, they tend to look that way. Is that just that quality of it? Is that not?
Well, I'm not sure. I guess I'm not sure how to answer that. Here, let me try to find one where you can see spicules. Okay, I think you can see spicules. You know what? I'm going to open up my other directory. Sorry, guys. I'll get the better images here. What am I doing?
It's all good.
And before you go,
hood?
I would just, because you've spent so much time looking at objects in space, would you be okay sharing maybe your favorite image? Or I would just love to see what you think is the most striking and impressive image you've captured.
I actually, it changes from day to day. Here's one that is very interesting, but part of it, and by the way, I'm going to show you the black and white version, which is uncolored, so nothing fake. The first one you're going to load is color. And can you zoom at all in your tool?
Let's see. Yeah.
So zoom and go to the edge somewhere where you can see the little spikes right at the edge, the limb of the sun. See those little spikes?
Yeah.
Those are called spicules. The average lifespan of a spicule, which is what you're seeing on the surface of the sun at a different angle, is about 8 minutes.
Okay.
And then it changes. But if you zoom back out so people can get a good look at, this is one of the images I really like, but notice the sunspots are white. So what do you know about this?
Inverted.
That's right. I inverted it.
Why does that, what is the principle that makes for it to look add more depth to the image?
Look at the white sunspot. See the black, where the black has gone and how that gives depth?
Yeah, it's where it was bright before, right? Before it was
right. So zoom all the way out.
Why do you invert it? To give it more depth and
it
contrast?
shows it contrastually boosts the 3D appearance.
Because it's very spherical in appearance when you do that, for sure.
It is. If you load the black and white now, you can see one that has absolutely no false color, nothing. It's what it looks like after I take it out of the camera and sharpen it.
Also inverted, though.
This one is also inverted.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the sun as much when you take the color out. Like you said, you give it that color for us to visualize the sun.
So what
And
do you think the sun is? You don't think it's a giant nuclear reactor or whatever it said? What do you think it is?
I think it may be a converter. I agree with Eric Dollard, who I was just fortunate enough to interview. I almost see exactly eye to eye with Eric Dollard, but unfortunately, I would need to be about 1,000 times smarter than I am to be in his ballpark. But the things that I had already accepted, one of the things is I think this is probably hollow. I think we're looking at a shell here,
Hmm.
and that those little sunspots literally do go in. I think it's a converter, that the energy is coming from counter space. It's not nuclear. It's drawing energy from somewhere else. And I think it might be counter space. Maybe it has to do with the binary. Anyone who knows who Eric Dollard is, this is a man who is Tesla level, maybe even more. I don't know. The government did everything to this man, to include stealing his URL, his name, to defame him, forcing him to put up a site with his middle initial. They smashed his labs, they took his equipment, and here's another thing that I love about him. All his equipment was from the 40s and 50s, all of it analog, because him, like me, knows that the digital world is Fugazi nonsense. It is a bad metaphor for the real world. Here's another one without color added that shows you what sunspots are all about before they've been added color.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you another one that is what a way people typically show you the sun when they just want to show you the prominences. So I sent you 3, Johnny.
Okay, just waiting for the first to come over. There it is. Okay. Any suggestions from your observations about temperature, or what do you think about what we're told about the temperature of the sun?
That's also false, because they're trying to get you to believe that it's like a match or a nuclear furnace, how you would expect that to be. Now, what do you know about this image, Johnny? Was it inverted? Look at the
No.
sunspot. Was it inverted?
White. It should be white. The center should be white.
Right.
If it's inverted, it's white. The
Right.
center spot
This
is
is-
white.
But those spots around it though are also white, huh? So
That's
the
real.
polar areas around it. All right, that's interesting.
The cooler areas, according to NASA, are where the sunspot is supposedly cooler, according to NASA.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I'm sorry, you asked me something.
Yeah, about we were talking about temperature. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So the alchemists had this figured out years ago, and they said the sun is not hot, and if it was hot, you wouldn't find snow on the top of every mountain.
That's an interesting take for sure. And the real question is, what we're told about space makes no sense. If like space is close to the sun, wouldn't it be warmer? Why is it portrayed as freezing cold?
Well, everything we've been told about space is just nonsense. And yeah, Elon's taking us to Mars and every other fantasy. They're going to kick that can down the road. They can't even get back to the moon. It's all just a bit laughable. But in my view, the space, what we call space, would probably be better defined as liquid, like an ocean.
So
I agree, dude. I think it's ocean. I think it's water.
You know how I did this? So I wanted to make the announcement years ago on my channel that space would be better described as liquid, but I couldn't get any more data through my scope. So this is what I did. I did a thought experiment. I said, if I can find some major speech or something that went out to the entire world that uses nautical language to describe space, I'll make the announcement. You know what I found? JFK, Rice University, we're going to the moon. We set sail on this new ocean, and on it goes. And that was it. I put out the video and people lost their minds. I said, no, think. But anyhow, in this image, you can see all the equipment that I used and the exposure times. And here I used 100 of 2000 frames. The seeing that day was above average. The seeing is how clear and crisp everything is. The transparency was bad. There's the time, and there's ways like that to do it. But people do this. They black out the disk so you can just get interested in the prominences.
So what is your thoughts on the WEF's warning about solar flares?
I'm laughing. I mean, whatever the sun does, it's the reason we have life. If something did happen from the sun that we didn't like, it doesn't matter. The sun provides the life here, and that's in God's creations, the hand you're getting dealt. I don't accept the Carrington event. I don't believe for a second that teletype and everything. They always say, "Oh, a flare could kill us." No, show me an example of it. You can't. You make up crap like the Carrington event.
What is the Carrington event?
They say there was an X-class solar flare or something like this that knocked out the teletype in the 1800s. So all the teletype wires were the one thing that went down. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit laughable.
I mean, there's stories of them like catching fire and
yeah,
right? Yeah.
So maybe these things happen, but you want to convince me that there's a thing called an X-class flare that can kill me? Show me the example.
Yeah, every time they warn of our impending doom from one of these things, literally nothing happens.
Of all the books I ever read in my life, the one that rises to the highest level of reflecting what our world is about is Dune, the original book by Frank Herbert. And in there is a line that is so pertinent to our time. I wish people would get it tattooed on the end of their nose. Fear is the mind killer.
Yes.
That's why there are X-class flares, so they can kill your mind.
Hey,
This
Crow.
is nature. We should be loving it, not fearing it.
Hey, Crow, quick question. I've been asking this lately. What do you think about the final experiment? The sun going around the Earth, that 24 hours. What do you stand on that?
I think it was a shame. I think it was designed to be divisive. I think that Jaren got damaged, and the sad thing about that is I know Jaren. He will do damage to himself to tell the truth, and that's what he did. And it's sad because you could have just looked online and known what he found before he got there.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people were convinced that was being lied about. So that's fine. I urge people to do firsthand, and to go down to a place like that. It's freaking amazing. But it did damage, because now he says things. I don't know if he's actually said, "I don't believe in flat Earth," but the only thing it proved was that the map he believed in wasn't right. That's all it proved. That is it. And what the other guys did is they started deriding people who have a different point of view. And let me tell you something. If we continue to fall for this programming where we hurt each other, we're going down during this digital takeover. Everyone you're making fun of right now, everybody, is in the same freaking boat you are, and you are taking on water at an astonishing rate. And if you're not willing to help them and they're not willing to help you, just throw your ass overboard now and don't even bother to grab a breath.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, the people these are two of the best. The Austin Witze, as far as I'm concerned, he's become like an Edward Snowden type figure, if you believe that story, where he's just torched his career now because he just went down there and watched the sun for a day.
There was no win, and worst of all is the way they name it. There's no such thing as a damn final experiment.
Ridiculous.
It never ends. You continually learn. And by the way, the map, the reason that I never have been a part of Flat Earth, though I support them, don't get me wrong, you're doing what you should do. Question it, look for it, study it, do what you can do, because you are being lied to. But that map, it was handed to you guys.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, and again, it just starts. Everybody fights about everything all the time,
and
we can never come together. I do make jokes about people because I find it funny. But I do think that we need to start realizing that it's us versus this predator class that is constantly hunting. Like, we want to just chill, raise our family, love our kids, give them the best hope for the future, and they're just predators. They're constantly hunting us. And if we don't start to realize that, there's very little hope, man. And it's just like, people are so they say 80% of the population has no ability to question authority. And it makes me sad because they're allowing so much of this to happen. I don't know how to wake them up. When Julia Roberts was out there and when BLM was going on and she was like supporting them, and they were rioting with Antifa and she was supporting that. And now after these fires, people were looting her neighborhood and she told them to go fuck off. And I posted like this series of tweets about like how, like, when the shoe's on the other foot, people, it's not so funny and you're not so supportive. And of course, people took it as I was saying that black people were rioting, and I wasn't. When I was talking about how it's like this predator class, and I'm not saying Julie Roberts is a predator, but what I am saying is that she's of a certain wealth, that her wealth has allowed her to feel like she's above the fray, so she could live in this idealistic world where she can just play to her emotions, and like stuff on a street level doesn't affect her, like crime, like immigration, like all sorts of stuff, like drug abuse, homelessness, all that stuff that's plaguing America right now. But what can affect her is fires. And, so that was the point. But of course, people wanted to argue about BLM and black people and all that stuff. And it just sucks because there's so much I learned in this episode. There's so much I learned in this episode that if you took it to people and you go, hey, man, there's two sons, so many of them are going to push back because the idea that they have been brainwashed by a lie is more dangerous than anything at all. They refuse to admit it. They want to believe that they have a good bullshit meter. They want to trust authority because they're too busy focusing on paying the bills. They don't want to believe their kids were brought into a world where giant predators are lying to us about everything. And it just sucks. And if you do listen to the show and you enjoy content like this, you are, in my opinion, very blessed that you're open-minded to it. And we have a wide range of discussions on the show that I think are super important to have. And your show, compared to some of the shows we have, it's like great that it's just a spectrum of data that they can consume to understand that there's a lot more going on than they're told. And that's why I think shows like this are so important.
Well, the irony of what's going on now is historically, when the masters of this miniature universe did bad things to people, it was typically the lower class, occasionally the middle class. Well, I got news for Julia Roberts. I don't give a damn what is it King John, the lineage all these people goes back to? Whatever it is, doesn't matter. You lose your house just as the trash man will lose his house, and you'll lose it on the same day. If you continue to defend what's going on in this world and play by the silent code that Hollywood requires, you are in fact Mr. Smith. You are an agent of the system, and you don't even know you're an agent of the system. There's a world takeover going on, and they are absolutely dead set and have announced that they will destroy all human organization, reduce the population by astonishing levels, and then put you in a position where you own nothing and subscribe to everything. And a subscriber is a product, and products get owned.
Is there any point in which you could become black-pilled?
At this point, I don't know. I literally wake up every morning with no pre-expectation, with one single thought in my head. And I try to hold it as often as I can. Fill myself with unconditional love. That is the ultimate stopping mechanism for what is going on. If I could snap my fingers and 90% of the world suddenly valued the golden rule above all other things, this is over. They're done. When you will no longer tolerate what's being done to your neighbor, everything changes. And what can be done to your neighbor can and eventually will be done to you.
I agree so much, man. I agree so much. Like we were talking earlier, dude, to turning the nation into a snitch, and like everybody okay with this, and like how they look at everybody like on their level or even below them as the enemy. It's like, even when I see the homeless people, I have compassion for them. Most of them were put through foster care, just had their souls and their minds grinded out, and there but for the grace of God go I. And we put these demons in, positions because they lie to us. They whisper sweet lies to us that people just want to believe. And it's at every moment we see this. Like, people want to believe in a fantasy more than they want to believe in a reality. You see it in their entertainers. You see it in the bands that they listen to. It's never the truth. It's always like this kind of like, especially in comedy right now, I call them demographic mascots. These people that just play demographics, and they're just like this super duper version of these demographic people. Just play to them, and like, it's amazing how so many of these people come out to be just pieces of shit. but they just are great business people who know how to manipulate good people. And people don't want to think. They just work hard, they grind, they want to go somewhere, they want to spend their money to turn their brains off. And there's people who manipulate that. It's really rough to watch.
You've never been told a true thing in your life, and a statement like that is unacceptable to the vast, vast majority of people who just heard those words come out of my mouth. But I can back it up. Consider every bank robbery movie you've ever seen in your life. When you watched it, you were being socially engineered. On so many levels, I can't even break it down. But at the base of it, you are being taught to accept that people will give and take life for a piece of paper. A piece of paper that supposedly represents something of great value. And for those who weren't alive, I got news for you. Quit being backed by gold in the 70s, like 71 or something like that. Yeah. That is social engineering. For a bank to be robbed is no different than someone stealing their sticky notes. That's how much damage has been done to that bank.
Right. You're totally right. They're literally stealing monopoly money.
Yep.
There's nothing in it.
It gets worse. I did an episode. I got so fed up some years ago with one of the most damaging things I've ever seen called politics. So I said, okay, I'm going to put an episode together to show people where it came from. You know who created the left and right wing politics in this country? A man named Montague Norman, who was the governor of the Central Bank of England, who our central bank was modeled on, came to this country in 1924, gave a speech to the bankers of America, and you can look this speech up, and he said, "Bankers of America, we now have successfully put in the political system left and right. Now we can take over the world while we get them to fight endlessly about things that do not matter." And a day or two ago, some orange-looking dude just swooped in like the savior while they took over one of the last bastions of free speech called TikTok, played you hard, laid off more human beings for 13 hours than have ever been laid off in this world, and then they put real-time censorship, they took it over. It's gone, boys and girls. And what they're going to do with it is they're going to program the young generation who can't live without it. So when they get to the point where nobody ends nothing, they'll all be smiling about it. That's the world we're in now.
Yeah, that's why the TikTok guys at Trump's inauguration sit up front.
And why is Elon his co-star? You want me to tell you why Elon's his co-star? Old McElon had a farm. A-I-A-I-O.
I'm with you, man. I mean, we've been discussing this new AI guy, Sam, what's his name, Johnny?
Altman.
Sam Altman, who has all this incredibly dangerous stuff in his history, from killing a whistleblower to supposedly doing unholy shit to his sister. Now, because of the Me Too movement, we don't want to believe anybody anymore. But I mean, like, that sounds like the perfect compromised person. All of these people, if you study any of them, Bill Clinton gets accused of sexual assault at some point, that just goes away. Puff Daddy goes away. I guarantee if you look deep enough into Jeffrey Epstein, even before he gets picked up by Barr's dad to teach at that school, there's some kind of sex crime that lets them know this guy is like, he's our guy. We position him in the same place. We own him. He'll do whatever we want as long as we feed the beast. And that's what's happening, dude.
So you want me to blow your mind so I can try?
I mean, I'm all about that. That's what the show's about.
I'll attempt right now to blow your mind, to attempt to demonstrate how bad an idea AI is. Besides the fact that it is raping and robbing every shred of mental property that this world owns. It is stealing everything we have ever created so it can train itself to be our warden. Listen to this. Elon, so I was on Twitter, and I don't use social media as anything more than an information source saying I put up a new episode on my private website. So every time I got near 10,000, they bumped me down 6 saying I had a bunch of fake accounts. Elon buys it, names it X. By the way, it's XI. It's a 9/11 play game. It's also a cutoff version of the Lucifer sigil, the way they do their little logo. But he adds AI in now, right? So Elon comes along and he adds in Grok. Do you know what Grok is?
What?
It's an ancient demon. Do you remember the first big budget sci-fi movie called Forbidden Planet with Leslie Nielsen?
Yes.
Okay. In that movie, they go to a planet, and 20 millennia ago, there was this massively beautiful organization planet with people called the Cree, and they had no violence, no anything. Well, something happened to them. But when they got to the planet for 20 millennium or something like that, their machines were still running and repairing themselves. It's AI. First big budget they ever did. So this guy, Dr. Morbius, starts to realize how it all works, and he realizes there's a brain booster that they taught their children with, but it can kill humans. So he carefully boosts his brain up. Another guy tries it and it kills him. But that AI that's been repairing the machines and doing the brain boost uses Morbius's mind to create demons, unleashes them on the planet, and it goes out and kills people. So let me ask you, and by the way, if you try to look up GROK, they've blocked that with the typical search engine trick they do where they get a popular thing with the same name to block your returns. But what you will get is another game where Grok is the demon in the game. You can't get at the original Grok source, but I know people who had real education. So AI, in my view, is actually attaching things like that.
Have you ever gotten into the theory that AI is Nephilim, dead spirits?
I don't think I can come to accept consciousness or life of any form because I don't think, to me, the alchemist got it right. If you can show me a body, a soul, and a spirit, now we can talk about life. And you can't do those things. But what you can do is maybe take a spirit or a soul and attach the AI to that, kind of like a tool powered by something. Maybe.
So what is your, we'll wrap it up here. What's your thoughts on the next year?
If nothing else had been going on in the world for the last 50 years, this year is going to be a massive deal simply because the sky clock shows us it's going to be. 5 planets are going to change their sign, which means massive energy shifts are here. Each of those energy shifts are interpreted by people called astrologers, many of which have differing points of view. It's been confused, it's been lied about so that nobody knows what the billionaires know, that the sky clock is the arbiter and the energies of our lives delivered to us, from my point of view, through the sun. When these 5 planets, Jupiter the big boy, I think changing in June maybe, that would guarantee that the world that we were used to is going to be vastly different. By the time we see January of 26, the world that we have known will not resemble the world we are standing in.
As of right now.
Right now.
So the world we're staying in right now, by January or June?
We're in January. By the time a year goes by and we're in January, we will be standing in a very different place.
Oof. Is that the world or just the United States?
The world.
Oof.
The United States is going to catch the brunt of it because people here, fortunately, still have ideas of home of the free and the brave, rights, the right to bear arms, which many of them do. That's all got to be undone.
So do you think the First Amendment and the Second Amendment go away?
They are planning to not only make it go away, they are going to try to implement Noahide law across the entire world.
Explain, what is that exactly?
No, well, we know what that is.
That's a whole other world. Just look up the word Noahide. I'm lucky to know.
You think the Noahide laws are coming?
Look. There is no foregone conclusion. In my view, this world is not a playground for evil parasites. 100 years or 200 years from now, this will be a beautiful realm that is almost beyond our magical belief. But now we got to deal with blood-sucking evil demons who care not for life, who care not for happiness, who have no compassion, who could give a damn if your mom and dad die face down in the gutter tomorrow. Why the hell do we live in a country where you can say you own your home and then you got to pay thousands of dollars to the government every year to keep it? And if one year you can't make that payment, they take it away as if you haven't been paying on it your whole life. We are living in a prison planet based on this idea that we are civilized and that we are the apex. And what has happened is some very dark intention has taken over everything. And they did it with money and corporations. That was their jet juice.
Unbelievable, dude. So there's any way we come out of this okay?
A lot of people are going to get lost no matter which way you look at it. Hopefully not 72% of a country anywhere. But until we recognize how special we are and that Tycho Brahe told us the truth, we are the center. We're the reason for all this. We are granted at birth God-given rights, the best you can get. And then we immediately give them away for a social security number and a citizenship. And then we ask permission to drive, and then we pay taxes on something we already own. And they don't need the money. They just don't want you to have it. And they put their fake savior up. Oh, guess what? There is no more IRS, because you know why? Because we're about to implement some stuff where we don't need that tool anymore. If you cannot recognize how important life is and your neighbor, whether they're red, green, blue, purple, pink, gay, not gay, they're alive, they're a human being, and they're about to drown in the same damn boat you are. And if you will not help them or love them, we're going down.
Man, I hope you're right. I hope that we can beat this with love. I love everybody. I love everybody except for one guy on the show. I'll let you decide who that is. But I love everybody. No, I can't. I love everybody on the show. I love everybody who listens to the show. This has
let me say something. I don't want to end on some dark, ominous, nasty ass note. Look, these are the kind of people that decide one morning they're not going to let the tide come in. All right. So they're going to say, nature, we don't like the way you do tides. We are not allowing the tide to come in. You know what? For a week or a month or a year, they may damn well stop the tide. But you know what I know? Eventually, that tide's coming in. You know why? Because nature made it, and there is no lie in nature, and our consciousness is rising. And you want to try to fight that with some binary BS machine called AI? Good luck, because the creator made the consciousness and you made the AI. Eventually, we're coming on top. But right now, we got hell to contend with, literally. They burned down the biggest cities in the country with impunity, and it doesn't matter if you're a movie star or a trash collector. They burn you to the ground, and they think they're getting away with it.
I mean, this should be the biggest eye opener to everybody.
And by the way, Hollywood's never come. Yeah.
Well, go on.
It's never coming back either, what they just did. BlackRock was there a day or two later buying up the blank lots that they just burned down. And I'll tell you what's going to be there. Apartment complexes, because you will own nothing and enjoy it if they get their way.
And those were the things that didn't burn, by the way. There's so many multifamily homes in that. There weren't many multifamily homes in that area, but the ones that were there are some of the buildings that survived because they're more, prone to be made out of plaster and concrete. And also, maybe they're not smart meters. Curious.
You want to hear something terrible, Johnny? In Rhode Island,
why stop now? Yeah.
Yeah. In Rhode Island, you are as close to the supposed Mayflower as you can be in the state I live. Supposedly they got off the Mayflower, they walked here. Okay. Now there was a house not too far from here in a neighboring place in a township over one or two, where it was called the Lafayette House because George Washington and Lafayette had met in that neighborhood, and a dude demoed it, having written there was no historical value. This morning, I got one of the local papers from a town two over. The oldest house in the state of Rhode Island was bought by a contractor, and it's about to be leveled and replaced with condominiums. You know why? Because when the Gen Z kids come up, they don't want any memory of the good things and the real history and all that. So while they're burning it down, the newer stuff in the West, shit like this is going on here, where these houses, there is no higher historical value for a home than the oldest house in Rhode Island or General, Washington and Lafayette, supposedly while they were freeing our country from our overlords. So they just level these things now, and it's going to happen.
Cultural Marxism, dude.
Yeah.
And then we have people in our own movement who don't think history, like any of that, is real anyway. So it's. I mean, there's no way.
That's why, though. That's what I'm telling you. The reason you don't think it's real is because it's been screwed with. And what
Yeah.
I'm pointing out is they're erasing it again.
I agree.
It's when people when they make the mermaid black and people are like, what's the big deal? I go, by itself, it's not a big deal, dude.
It's the
I'm sorry if that
intention
just
that's the big
popped,
deal.
guys. But by itself, it's not a big deal. But what it does do is make it so you and your kids or you and your grandkids have different data points and you can't pass on information. Why is Captain America black now in the new Marvel movie? So that the people that remember him was white, you seem like an old fogey and you don't know what the fuck you're
Well,
talking
it's
about.
actually worse than that. Do you remember in the first Captain America when he's running, it goes, the new Captain America says to the old one, I do everything he does. I just do it a lot slower. So it's downgraded. It's like Thor. He was the thunder god, but now they cut his hair and a girl picks up his hammer.
Yeah.
Everything is downgraded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. He's not even the new Captain America. Doesn't even have superpowers. Doesn't make sense. Why? How's he doing? Anyway, I'm getting nerding out. But that shield is supposed to be part of his super.
It's a joke.
Part of his skill set was to be able to manipulate that shield in a certain way. Now you're telling me, oh, none of that. Actually.
Yeah, and here's the whole thing, and it's going to continue to go like this as long as you have a Federal Reserve. As long as you have a Federal Reserve that is going to bail out all the major companies that own Disney when they keep putting out dog shit over and over and over again, and it doesn't matter if it makes money or not. They don't care.
No, they don't.
They are just trying to control the data. And they are like when you bring it up about them changing like the names of things and they bury names. Why they Black Panther? Oh, because they don't want you to go find out that there was a radical group called the Black Panthers that pushed back against the government and stuff like they just keep. There was another one we did where it's like something to do with the what was that? What was the Pixar thing about the superhero
Frozen.
film?
Frozen. We talked about Frozen as well, where you can't look up Walt Disney got Frozen. You type in Frozen and it brings you into the Frozen movie.
Yeah,
now.
but there's also one with the Expandables or whatever they're called. That there was a operation that involved like children that they don't even want you to talk about, or the Minions, how their suits look like shit right out of the Holocaust. I mean, like these are things that they just don't want you to be able to look up, so they bury it on Google, they bury it on everything, and you know it's just like super sad, man. And I think you're totally right, and we could easily move into the Black Mirror, and I do believe. Because if you take a look at like all the Tartarian stuff, there's so much Tartaria stuff in small towns that they don't go to the smaller towns. It's just if you want to live in a big city, you're going to live in a hellscape. You're going to live in
game. 80-20, right?
Yeah, you're going to be like it's going to be straight up Orwellian. And then you're going to have to go live in a small town if you want to kind of be left alone. But you're going to have none of the convenience of the big city where you're not going to have to do shit. You're going to own nothing. And it's really crazy what's going on.
It is the complete disregard for the value of the divine spark of life and free will and the amazing things that human beings can and have achieved and the astonishing level that we can spiritually attain, which has been attacked on every level since at least the Renaissance. And I'll tell you something, we couldn't build one of those cathedrals if we wanted to because the form matched the function. It was a complete synchronicity with the truth that is provided by nature, and it kept people healthy. Even the church bells, the ring of those bells healed you. That's why all the old bells are gone. This has been going on for a long time. So the next time you want to say the Bible is meaningless, I will say to you, there is no meaningless religion that has stood the test of time because it was fit to the culture it was aimed at. And let me tell you something, when they tell you the prince of this world is Satan, maybe you ought to think a little more carefully because human beings that breathe air and drink water do not make the decisions that we are seeing being implemented.
Get right with the Lord, bro. Get right with the Lord. That's what I say.
I'm not pushing a religious point of view. I'm showing you where value can be found. And truly, truly, if we learn to love ourselves and our neighbors, this would end. It would become, the irony here is my generation, I'm X. They want to call me boomer, but it's not true. To be a boomer, in my view, you've got to been be able to remember when JFK died. That's the divide. Gen X and Gen Boomer dropped the ball. And the reason we dropped the ball is because we had more social engineering thrown at us to include drugs at a time when we didn't realize we couldn't trust authority. It may well be the millennials and Gen Z and Gen Alpha who make the difference in this game because they are slowly looking around and quitting this game.
Yep. Man, I got kids. I'm trying to figure out how to keep these kids right. All right, Crrow777. One more time. Tell them where they can find you.
All right. Everything I do is on a private server because I've been censored out of existence almost everywhere. If you go to Crrow777radio.com, that's 2R, CRROW777radio.com, and you join for $8 a month, you get access to all the forums, all the comments. You can make threads. You can do anything you want. You get access to all the solar imagery. All my current solar work is exclusive to my membership in videos on the site. And there's a movie called Shoot the Moon, which has 10 awards in the world. And it is 2 hours long, covers all the lunar waves, all the weird UFOs, all the invisible things, the first discovery of the second sun. That is free to any member. And the way that I do it is I hold it on a private server so that I can maintain free speech.
Well, Crrow, we always love coming when you come on. You're definitely a guy who's in the discussion for the Mount Crushmore of this show as we hurl towards our 1000th episode. You're definitely in the discussion, and we appreciate it. And thank you so much. Again, links below to all the Crrow stuff. And let's break down the latest news. Let's do it. All right, man. So, this is what we like to do now on the show. We like to break down what hot well, on the other show we call hot topics.
That's a copyrighted phrase, Sam.
Sorry, buddy. But we want to just talk about current events here because these shows get booked out 2 months in advance, so we sometimes can't do it. So let's get into something. Where do you guys want to start?
I mean, come on, a lot to talk about, isn't there? It's a crazy week, dude.
It's a dude. As we say on Conspiracy Social Club, it is Conspiracy Christmas. Hot topics. I'm using all the terms from all my podcasts, but I think let's get into what everyone's talking about. Obama. Word on the street is
not Ross Ulbricht.
Obama.
Not Ross Ulbricht. No.
Johnny, we gotta start with the hot topic. We gotta start with the sticky subjects first. We gotta grab them in. We just had a heavy ass episode. We gotta do a little fun stuff.
No, it was just your setup for it. It was like the thing on everybody's lip.
I know. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. Okay. But Obama is supposedly broken up with Michelle Obama and is now dating Jennifer Aniston.
Okay. Before all that, are they really broken up, or did she really hate Trump and didn't show up to inauguration? I can't figure it out.
Well, now sources are saying that Jennifer Aniston is
there we go.
Sources are talking that now it's been almost confirmed.
So not only
this
are
makes
they
me
getting
think Jennifer Aniston likes to strap it on and wreck. That's what I just honestly think.
Oh, so you don't think Obama's topping it there? You think he's letting her bottom it?
Yeah, I think she is completely sexless to me.
She is perfect for a gay man. Perfect.
Yeah, because she has no sex energy.
Yeah, she just wants everyone to take her serious.
And who's Big Mike dating now? She's just single
right now? That will be the question.
Well, yeah, I said before, it's Mark Ruffalo is the perfect guy for Big Mike for sure.
He would just love that dude, and he would be getting top too. Like they both be getting top.
Oh, he'd be doing it for the environment.
The only thing that upsets me about that is like everyone says I sound like Mark Ruffalo, like we have the same voice.
Yeah, you do a little bit. Yeah, you do. Yeah, it's just his attitude that's non-masculine though, and you don't share his attitude. It's not his voice. He's a great actor, honestly. He's a talented actor. But golly, he is a what would you say? A bitch. I think is the technical.
Well, when Kyle Rittenhouse shot that pedophile and he was like waxing poetic about the pedophile, you're like, all he wanted to do was just love. You're like, he molested children. It's like, really, dude? Like, are you that lost in it?
Obama leveled up, right? Though he leveled up, he went from like a 6 to an 8.
Well, you went from a dude to a more feminine dude, according to the internet, right? You went to more feminized dude, according to the internet. To each their own. I don't care,
I mean, can I
but
just show you? Can I just show you an image and you tell me? Do you? I mean, I've never seen more smoldering chemistry than this couple has in this image. Wouldn't you, if you were part of a loving relationship, agree that? I mean, look at this. My God, look at just the. Isn't that when you're having an anniversary or something, a hot date? Isn't that what you do? You sit across from each other at a long table and then just kind of barely touch each other's hands and smile like you're a prisoner.
She's fisting and he's grabbing. So
Yeah.
everyone's
Ooh,
been
girl,
talking about that. She's like, okay.
Sam caught that. Yeah, she is fisting him, and he's like trying to hold her hand.
Which is kind of like their sex, too.
Oh, we got it. We got it, Sam.
Okay, what do you think? Why do you think, if so, why do you think she's breaking up with him or he's breaking up with her? What do you think's the dynamic? What do you think is just
I mean, they've
over
been
it?
together for a long time. This is like,
yeah, dude, yeah.
Yeah,
They've
but I
been
thought
together for a
these people
very
aren't supposed.
long time.
I thought they're not supposed to break up. I thought they're supposed to stick together forever for like
that's a
Hillary
great
Clinton.
point. You
Well,
think they're
I
supposed
think-
to Clinton it?
Yeah, I
I think
thought-
she realized she's not going to be president now, and that she doesn't need him anymore.
That's a great point, too,
Ooh.
Johnny.
No, because with Trump winning and becoming president, I think she's,
I also
all right.
believe, though, dude, I also believe that, he is desperate to kill the gay rumors. Like, he is desperate. Like, I think he saw that his brand is dead. He had no ability to get anybody behind Camel Toe Harris, and I think he's trying to be like, hey, man, come on now, I like to bang this strange. Come on now.
He can't get anybody behind Camel Toe Harris because he had Mike behind him for some.
Yeah, 100%. And I like, dude, I maybe this is her exiting the scene because she's just tired of being called a guy.
Dude, but if Obama came out, the gays would love that fool. They'd pick it right back up, be like, look, Obama's part of us.
Well,
Yeah,
but
but
the gays, how many people is that?
Yeah, and I don't know if the gays have the power that they had 5 years ago.
They do not. No.
Yeah, they don't.
I think that there's studies showing that like the progressive left is like the least popular it's ever been.
Interesting.
Because
Wow.
if you give them an inch, they take a fucking 37 dildos worth.
Dude,
of
can you imagine Big Mike's fucking Obama book? The biography of
Oh yeah,
being
that's
the
so funny.
first
Who
lady?
offs who? Who offs who? Like, you better not say something that both of them get a fucking book deal. That they're like, we got off the other one.
They got to put that in the divorce for sure. They got to negotiate that shit for sure.
Yeah, I mean, dude.
Where's the Aniston thing though? I can't find any mainstream report of the Aniston thing. Was he photographed with her or something? I don't know.
It's all over Twitter. It's all over Twitter.
check that
It may not even be real, but it's an interesting take. And of course, all the gossip people are running with it.
Let me see.
I don't know, but Jennifer Aniston seems like the perfect beard to have, like the perfect beard.
Oh, I see. Okay. It says the former president attended a private dinner in a secluded room accompanied by Jennifer Aniston.
Is Big Mike mad that he went white?
Oh, that's a great question. Dude, fucking what is his name? Taylor is his last name. He's the fucking funniest comic. He's this black comic. And he had the funniest joke about how he could never let a white woman peg him because his ancestors would cry.
Right. Let's see. This is from the Economic Times. Amid divorce buzz, Barack and Michelle Obama more like, quote, just friends, they're asking here. What's behind the rumors?
Just friends.
I mean,
Like,
that's
I
all-
just would love to ask my friends who are in relationships for 30 years, like, are you still crushing it every night? Are you just going to Pound Town every night after 30 years? And that's not like guys getting turned off or women. Like, do you just like still want to go to Pound Town or you want to go to bed?
They're an agreement. It's an agreement. Once a month, once a week, you have to.
This is from an hour ago from someone called Melanie King. It says Jennifer Aniston has turned off comments on her Instagram account after.
She's
I wonder if
great
this is
too.
real.
She
Ooh, it
follows
says
me.
leaked DMs confirm that. I wonder if that's real.
I think Jennifer Ashton would be okay with.
Aniston.
Well, yeah, her. I think she'd be all right with
Like, who
being
cares?
Her too.
okay with being with ex-president. Sounds like
Of course.
Oh no, she's all about it. Yeah, she's
In Hollywood, that's royalty to be Obama's wife chick.
sure, dude.
There's nothing. You know how many things you could book if you're an interracial couple in Hollywood? He's Karen Myers. I'm here with Jensen. I can't stop eating that ass.
No, I will say,
It tastes like cotton candy, not like Michelle's hole, like with licorice. You know, I want some cotton candy now. You know, Johnny, what? Stop, stop, Johnny.
you always love to talk about buttholes, dude.
Johnny, yeah, I do.
JD Vance's wife, by the way, she's lovely. I saw her at the, where they were.
Johnny, did you want to go to the inauguration like so bad?
No, I have no interest in that at all.
Can we push Broken Sim real fast and let him know that we have a call with one of Sam's participants for a 3-way?
Yeah, we didn't love that conversation because
I did.
Well, no,
except
remember
for when
we
they
toned it
had
down
their
a little
kid
bit
come
because-
on the phone. That part
Right.
was very annoying to me.
Yeah, we
Outside of that, it's pretty great.
We had to tone it down, as you recall. Because of that.
Yeah. What did she say? When
She
do you
was
ever
down
get
with a 3-way with you.
No. The magic moment you forgot was when she said, when is there a magic moment you get to have Sam watch you have sex or something like that? And you're like, I'll make that into a ringtone.
Yeah, make that into a ringtone, Johnny. Offer that at a BS shop. Johnny, let's
I
get
don't
into
even know
what
how to monetize that.
Johnny, let's get into what you wanted to talk about, which was Ross Ulbricht.
Ross Ulbricht, yeah.
Ross Ulbricht, he's
great,
out.
man.
Talk
Thank
about your
God.
feelings right now.
I was so happy. It was such a relief because I've said since Trump won the election and before, I guess, that would be one of the early signs that things were going better than we had hoped. Now, I'm not so naive as to think that Donald Trump is, just a generic force for good. If we learned anything on the episode we just had, it's that it's foolish to think that way. But this is a good thing, and it's okay to say it's a good thing. Don't you agree? I mean, there's no way this is bad.
To play devil's advocate, I do agree he got the book thrown at him. Is he out? Because he did hire an assassin to kill someone.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Hold on.
No, he didn't.
Hold on.
We've had his mom, and I do agree it was all an inside job, but he did.
So why do you
someone.
think he did it? I mean, what are you talking about?
It's all fake. That's all fake.
It's all fake and gay.
Well, I mean, it was the murder was
fake. All the documentation of that was fake.
No, I agree, but he did
murder for hire. By the way, is a fantasy. It doesn't exist except for governments doing it. Private people.
Well, women do it all the time, buddy.
Yeah, but it's fake. Think about the people. It's women getting busted for trying to hire cops. That's what it is.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean,
Johnny, that's
all
a
an inside
great
job.
point you did right there. That's a really great point.
I mean, there's a movie that came out last year called Hitman, and in it, it's about a cop who is trying to bust people on Craigslist. Hiring hitmen. Yeah. And in it, he talks about how this job doesn't exist, except for cops, basically. I'm sure there are some, in the really dark circles of like.
No, I get it, Johnny. I really do get it. I really do get what you're saying.
Anyway,
right
there's no way Ross Ulbricht getting out is a bad thing. I just thing I would say is now, hey, what about Edward Snowden? Let's do that one next. Bring him home.
Johnny, sorry, came in hot there, guys. January Sixers. What do you guys think?
Glad they're out.
Are you happy about that? Are you not happy about that?
Glad they're out. Yeah. Especially the Proud Boys and stuff. You're not glad.
Are you okay with them out, or you sound like angry?
Me?
Yeah.
I just said I'm glad they're out.
Oh, I didn't hear you say I'm glad. You said they're out.
I said I'm glad they're out. I think you were.
They're out.
No, I'm glad they're out. I think you were talking. I'm glad they're out. Of course, it's a great thing.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So it's like this is the thing with Trump's candidacies, and we're what, day 3? Is this day 3?
It
what
feels
day
like
is it?
It feels like month
day
3.
Second,
yeah.
Day 2, 20th, 21st, 22nd. Day 3, I guess.
Day 3, right?
TikTok is TikTok out? Who's buying TikTok? Is that freedom of speech gone? What's going on with that?
Sure, Cardi B tried to get a VPN so she could go on TikTok. I don't know. Again,
I saw Mr. Beast is trying to buy TikTok.
Yeah, I mean, does anyone trust that guy? Everyone's looking at Elon. Like, do you trust Mr. Beast?
Not at all. And dude, I didn't realize how much kids like him until
Oh,
Hung out with my nephew.
my
over the
kids are
holiday.
like, Mr. Beast. I'm like, stay away.
I love him. Dude.
Stay away.
I saw Frank McCourt was trying to buy half of TikTok. Yeah, it's every rich
the
asshole.
Dodgers guy?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Stay
So
away.
is Kevin O'Leary, the guy from Shark Tank.
Everybody wants it. Everybody wants
Why don't we
it.
try to buy it, Sam? Why don't we try to buy it? What
are we gonna do? I'm gonna use the money that when I call ICE on you. Is that what I'm gonna do? I'll use that money.
I was hoping we were gonna promote the podcast.
Okay, I was gonna use that money and try to buy TikTok with
You gotta
it.
live stream it, by the way. Actually, if they come for you, you gotta live stream that shit, bro. You would just go bananas on.
I got a dash cam on the truck ready to go in case I need to. You guys can catch it live. We're gonna start a Patreon. It's not gonna be free, guys.
That'd be so hilarious, dude.
You'd be the richest.
What do you guys think of Trump? And so Trump is talking about getting rid of the Federal Reserve. I mean, he's talking about trying to get rid of
the Fed and the IRS.
Yeah, he's trying to get rid of the IRS. He stopped all foreign aid for the next 90 days. Now everyone's getting mad because it's like excludes Israel. Israel still gets aid.
I know.
Okay.
Dumb.
And then there was this notion that included Ukraine, but we just found out that he stopped all weapons being sent there, and he fired everybody in the DOD that was sending the weapons over. They're all gone.
Well, did you see that idiot over there, Zelensky, today was calling for 200,000 peacekeeping troops from Europe to come over there now? Because he knows, I think, that the jig is up.
He's gonna get his ass beat.
Yeah. And did you see Trump ended any of the DEI stuff? And part of this order ending DEI stuff is telling people, and think about how out of control the federal government is if you have to issue an executive order saying this. In the executive order, it says, and if you know that the place where you work is trying to hide the work it does by changing the names of the programs that it's running or, disguising its purpose, then you will be, rightly rewarded for reporting that. But think about that, dude. They're worried that our own government has become so big and so deceitful that it's lying about what it's actually doing to survive this Trump thing. That's insanity to me.
And it's super sad that people are working against the government, our own leaders.
Yeah. Lying to them to continue their...
It's so frustrating, dude.
No wonder it's hard to do that job, and half the government set against you from the start.
Was I the only one that was mad that he said federal workers got to go back to work into office? That means more traffic. Or was I the only one that was upset about that in LA?
You were the only one upset about that.
Because everyone else more people going to work.
Get to work, you pieces of shit. Coming from a bunch of guys that didn't go to the office today.
That's what I mean. Let them stay at home.
Don't let them stay at home. No, we're paying all this money for this office shit. Go sit in the office. I get rid of it, dude. I know that they're not going to get rid of it, but they got to trim down this government, dude. Trim it down. So,
what do you think he could actually get rid of the IRS? Because man,
I would love it, dude, so much.
Honestly, he could be the Antichrist, and I'd be on board.
Johnny, you're not the only one. Go, okay, maybe he isn't up there any good, but you get rid of federal taxes, bye-bye.
Hey, Johnny, you backing out on that tattoo on your forehead if he gets rid of it?
Yeah, no, all of that. Yeah, tattoo on the forehead. Yeah,
Johnny, you would get a tattoo on your forehead if he got rid of the federal
the Fed and the IRS. Yeah.
Absolutely. The Fed and the IRS. Okay.
Just making sure before. Yeah.
I'm not against that, Johnny. If he does that, I will show up with a gun. And I will have a tattoo artist with me, and they will do the worst prison tattoo on your forehead.
Well, no,
we'll pay for it. We'll pay for it. Don't worry.
I would let you pick out the tattoo or pay for it. I'm picking out the tattoo.
It's got to be like Trump, and then
it's going to be like in my hairlines. You can't see it. Only
okay. All right. Respect, bro. Respect, guys. If you want to see Sam Tripoli live, go to samtripoli.com.
Wait,
all my dates are there. Adding new dates as we speak. Hey, guess what? Daddy's going to new markets, doing new shows. But this week, go up this weekend. I'm in one of my favorite comedy clubs, the Comedy Vault in Batavia, ran by wonderful human beings. Okay. Comedy. Then the following 2 weeks after that, by the way, next weekend I'm doing Tim Pool. Then we're going to Columbus, Ohio on the 6th of February. The 7th is Pottstown, PA at Soul Joel's. And then on the 8th, it is back at my club, which I love, the Dojo Comedy, for Tinfoil Hat with my good friend Eddie Bravo. Xavier Guerrero will not be joining us because he's a bitch. Okay. And then at the end of February, Phoenix, Arizona, at the wonderful House of Comedy. Guys, the website is fire. Everyone loves it. Premium content. I put up so much. Just put up 3 in the last 2 days. You can't even see one on there, which is the dangerous one. And then we had I break down the train theory. Go up a little bit, please. Then we break down TikTok ban. Then we do Johnny Cash reads the Bible. Enlightenment. Okay. $8 a month. You're getting so much bang for your buck. You don't even know. So much bang for your buck. More bang for your buck than anywhere else you'll ever know. And that doesn't even show all of it. I don't even list dangerous unless you're a subscriber. You can't even see the dangerous. Go over to Cash Daddies, Banking Fatties. Dude, another 12 joined, okay? I'm telling you, Johnny, talk about this. Please talk about it.
Well, I mean, Howie, especially last week, was killing it.
Fire.
Yeah, and I mean, the man is like the Muhammad Ali of investing. He's in and out of these trades quickly, but the community is the real thing there. It's so many people have come together and kind of formed a group now and become friends, and they share ideas. Yeah, it's a great place to be. Go check it out.
If you like money, join the Cash Daddy Patreon, okay? If you like to have people watch you have sex, join the Cash Daddy Patreon, okay? Dude, we're giving out discounts here. Anyways,
How about this?
Whoa, dude, you got a shirt.
I want to know about it. Yeah, I got it. I want to know when my part 2 is coming here.
Dude, part 2, they sent me the initial drawings. The only thing I'm changing is one verbiage, and then we're going. New character showing up. Very excited about it, dude. Bang, bang, pow, dude. Okay, Chaos Twins #2. Be a part of the chaos. Go down. Yes, and then we have so many So many of these people these are affiliates. Gold and Silver, Rife Technology, OptiCure Hydrogen Brown Gas, Harley Ray. We love them. Their website's gorgeous. Again, chemical free body. I'm gonna start doing my own supplements. I may be the fattest person to sell supplements, but we will do it. Okay, we're getting a whole store ready, dude. I'm trying to get this going. Okay, so quality products from us, okay? My good friend, I got sent the coolest video ever by Joel Staley. Some of the swarm joined Joel Staley. Guess how much weight they lost in 40? Here, Johnny, can I send you this real quick?
Yeah. Send it over.
See if you can play it real quick. How great this is.
5 pounds. 5 pounds.
Okay, how much do you think he lost?
5 pounds.
No,
XG.
I'm talking like 20 pounds.
This guy really knows. You gotta undershoot it, actually.
No, dude.
7 pounds.
Trust me, I know what he does. He really does some good shit. He gets people into shape. That's what I'm saying. 7 pounds seems like
Johnny, I just emailed it. Can you play it?
Oh, you emailed it? Okay, I thought you were gonna
look at these numbers. He's got 34, 33.
Go up a
42.
little bit. Go down a little bit. Let's see if he put it up yet. He may not put it up yet. Nope, he didn't put it up yet.
No.
He may have
Johnny.
put it up.
Oh,
okay,
you texted
here you go,
me.
Johnny.
I got it.
Yeah,
Right.
I just texted you. Can you play it? This is Joel Staley, friend of show, affiliate.
Wait, made a video of your laptop? Is that what this is?
Yeah, well, no, I didn't do it. Joel Staley filmed his laptop of the guy on his show.
Okay.
And he wanted to share with me. So I don't know if he wants me to show, but I'm going to share this. But here we go.
Promised to land. You let me in.
Say it one more time and I'll just send this to him.
What am I going to say?
Just say, Sam, thanks for pointing me in Joel's direction. I lost 42 pounds and I'm a fucking
Oh, yeah. Hey, Sam, I just wanted to thank you. I've been listening to your podcast since the beginning. Just wanted to thank you for leading me to the promised land. Reached out to Joel, and since the last 90 days, lost 42 pounds.
Amazing.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
He's a legend.
Congratulations.
That makes me want to cry, dude.
Me too, man.
That makes me want to cry. I'm fighting tears to see somebody that listened to us. And by the way, thank you. That means you listened to the whole show. By the way, that means you stay and listen to everything. So I love you very much, brother. I'm so thankful for your kindness that you give us credit, but you know we brought you to water and you drink from the fountain of knowledge, and just shows you Joel Staley can help you get it done. So I'm very thankful for that. Go back to our page real quick. Go back to the page real quick. Yeah. And then we got Prometheus. I've been telling everybody, you heard Crrow777 talking about how how he's got a decentralized website. That's what Prometheus does. Decentralized. And then finally, if you think XG's been a little less retarded, not that much, but a little less retarded, we can thank our good friends at Brain Supreme. Next level shit. We use the promo code Sam Tripoli, get 15% off. And the website's got everything you need. All things Sam Tripoli at the website. So anything else, guys?
Hit that like button, subscribe, and go check out We Don't Smoke the Same. We got a crazy Patreon where we have a secret menu, if you know what that means.
All right, Johnny.
I don't know what that means, actually. I'm very curious what that means.
Go check it out.
Johnny,
secret menu.
XG's bi-curious on what that means.
yeah. Very bi-curious. Check me out on Instagram, Johnny A. Woodard. Still don't got no Twitter. So.
Really?
I'm sorry about that. Just turn the broken sim into the new Johnny one. Do it.
Make a new one.
I think I'll get it back because I didn't do anything. I think I'll get it back. I have faith in X for some reason.
In the Lord?
And the Lord, especially the Lord. Yes.
All right. Enjoy these highlights.
Here's a clip from the latest Broken Sim.
This is what you've been talking about. We've all been talking about. Headline, California moves to quickly rebuild homes destroyed in LA wildfires. Should it? That's someone's finally starting to talk about it. It says, not everyone thinks that the impulse to rebuild in fire-prone areas makes long-term sense, especially since climate change continues to elevate wildfire risks.
It's just this narrative that just is getting its dick kicked in, and there's just going to be this permanent class of retards that are going to believe it no matter what.
Yeah.
Right? Climate change. You're like arsonists, smart meters, mismanagement.
Who would you think would be talking about it? Would it be Alice Hill of the Council on Foreign Relations?
100%, dude. CFR?
Yep.
100%.
Yep. The challenge.
They're just idiots.
The challenge, she says, is the nature of the land underneath our feet is changing. The nature of extreme weather events is changing. And
They're
those
just
alterations
so
make some areas far less safe than they have been historically. Isn't that? I mean, they don't even wait, dude. Starship broke up. Today they had a Starship launch and the thing exploded.
I saw that over Turkey.
Yeah, here's some video of it. The FAA had to issue some debris warnings.
Get a picture. Ready?
What does that look like, Johnny? Space Bukkake.
Dude, anything could be happening. Like the worst shit you've ever seen, and there's some white girl in the background going, "Get a picture!
so right.
For my Instagram!"
You're like, somebody's dreams just died. Get a picture!
Crazy, right?
And by the way, that's supposedly this is Turkey or somewhere like that, and there's white valley girls everywhere.
Is that really Turkey? I hadn't heard that. That's funny.
100% something burned up the atmosphere.
Yeah, no shit, dude.
That's wild,
Space junk or something.
Yeah, that just looks like it just went through the firmament. Next story.
Bounced off the firmament?
Yeah, bounce off the
Hey,
firmament.
I'll buy that.
Bounce off the firmament. Bounce off the firmament.
You know, Yeezy is set to turn the fashion world upside down he's offering everything that he produces now.
Making people wear pants as shirts and shirts as pants.
It does look like that. It really does.
Oh, really?
No, he's got these big ass baggy shirts, dude, that look like, it's so funny. That's not what he's doing, but it's close to that. He's offering everything for $20. That's his new. This is him. You can hear him say it out of his own mouth. Here we go. Coming up here. I thought
Those look like space boots.
Yeah, I mean, it's what all of his shit looks like. Oh, here it is. Right here. Is there a mute button on there? I can't see.
I cut up, 100 hoodies from Yeezy, from Balenciaga, from the stuff we did at Gap, from the stuff we did at Adidas, and everything we do is going to cost $20. We need to make sure that everyone can receive the same level of cuts, the same level of food, same level of water, same level of education, the curriculum, the engineering. We're beings with engineering opportunities. We're getting past the past. We're focused on the future.
What do you think? What do you think of that guy?
There's a couple thoughts I have. I've never, like, it's so funny. The last time I liked fashion from a rapper was, remember 50 Cent's old line of clothes they had?
I do not know.
Will you look up 50 Cent's line of clothes? And dude, it was so good. It was like,
I had some Sean John shoes at one point. I'm embarrassed to say that.
But I forget the name of it. I used to wear it all the time. Dana, she would just buy it for me when I had big shows coming up.
G-Unit Clothing Company?
G-Unit.
G-Unit?
G-Unit was so good, dude.
G-Unit?
I used to love G-Unit. G-Unit was what you would, it looked like black European clothes, like what black Europeans would wear. Right? Yeah, it was so good. And then it went to shit. It went to shit. It was good, and then it went to shit. But
that guy was a hustler.
So I've never been into any like FUBU, any of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
I personally don't like any of Kanye's fashion. That's
funny. I kind of do. That's interesting. I like his shoes.
And the shoes are kind of interesting. Everything else looks like you're trying too hard, to me. But
I like a lot of it.
But what's very interesting to me is, like, I've seen this before. Back in the day, Steph Marbury tried to introduce like a $20 sneaker.
Yeah, I had a pair of those Starberries, they were called.
And everybody clowned him and clowned people that got him because they were like poor people shoes. And I'm like, this guy's trying to give you regular sneakers at a good price and you're shitting on him.
I bought a pair of his running shoes just because I wanted some cheap running shoes. They were terrible. They were awful.
Okay.
They were awful.
So they were $20 sneakers.
You got what you paid for.
So, I mean, like, is this just Kanye trying to move product, or is he trying to help people?
No, I bought one of the shirts. The shirts were just as good as anything that you would get anywhere else. Absolutely. He's got these like slip-on shoes that are just socks with like soles on them.
Oh, dude, I love that.
They're terrible. I actually kept them in my bag for a while because we were going to talk to him about them on the show, and I just never got around to it. I'll bring them back in. I just ordered though another those. What did I don't think those shoes are out yet. I ordered something else. I'll bring it in. But yeah, it's okay. He takes big swings. We say that a lot, you know.
Yeah,
and
you don't know. The thing about Kanye, you never know where he's at that moment.
No,
is he lucid? Is he?
I think that they misrepresent. I think he's lucid a lot. I think he's just his mind. He's like you. His mind is always chewing on something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I think he's like that.
A lot of people call him the Sam Tripoli of rap.
I've heard that said many times actually.
Final story.
Not quite. We're almost there.
I'm so
This
tired.
is the funniest thing that I've ever seen.
Okay.
And I mean this. This is
out of everything you've ever seen, this is the funniest you've ever seen.
This is the funniest
This is the funniest thing you've ever seen.
In my whole life.
Okay, let's go.
If you'd like to hear the rest of this episode, subscribe to Broken Simulation in your podcasting app or check us out at youtube.com/Sam Tripoli.
We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind. Tinfoil hat.